What's up guys, Jcfigz here, and today we're going to review the WWF 1999 mail-away Toyfare exclusive Royal Rumble figures. This mail-away comes with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon. Now the only way that you could have got this back in the day is if you ordered the WWF 1999 Royal Rumble and sent the WWF a copy of your cable bill to prove that you ordered the Royal Rumble, and then they would send you these exclusive figures. This thing is pretty rare. I haven't seen any other ones sealed in the packaging on Mercari or eBay or anywhere, so I'm pretty excited to open this up, and I'm pretty nervous to open it at the same time. But I'm doing it for you guys, so let's check these figures out. And of course I got my Figures Toy Company WWF Smoking Skull replica here. They don't make these belts anymore, unfortunately, but they still have some really cool stuff. Go check them out, figurestoycompany.com. Use discount code Jcfigz to save 10%. Okay, so here we go. Let's open it up. Oh, broke the seal. Okay, so reach in the bag, and right away we got Vince McMahon. He comes in his own little plastic bag. That's nice to see. And then we also have Stone Cold. He comes in his own plastic bag also. There's no stand in here, unfortunately. The guy that I got this from, and he said that he thought there would be a stand in here, but I guess not. That stinks, but that's okay. I have a bunch of BCA stands anyway. We'll do a quick overview of these figures. Vince McMahon, starting from the top, he has the black gelled back hair, black eyebrows. He has the Vince McMahon head mold, a turtleneck sweater on underneath his buttoned up WWF jacket. On the back of the jacket it says Royal Rumble, cuff sleeves on the jacket, and the Royal Rumble microphone, dress pants that aren't that detailed. There are some wrinkles in them, but no pockets or anything on the front or on the back. No seams going down the side. Dress shoes that also are not that detailed. There are some creases in the dress shoes, but they're not shiny. They do have the soles on the bottom. Overall, the Vince McMahon figure is pretty plain, but at the same time, anyone from the Attitude Era at first glance looking at this figure know exactly where this came from, and it's an iconic Vince McMahon attire. Now, Stone Cold, starting from the top, he has the bald head, goatee, classic Stone Cold, black t-shirt. It says Royal Rumble on the front. I don't believe he ever actually wore a Royal Rumble t-shirt, but again, this is an exclusive, so it's a special edition type deal. He has a black belt on, and you can see the metal belt buckle. You can also see the belt going through the loops on the pants. The pants are more detailed than the Vince McMahon pants. There are creases on the pants at the top and on the bottom, and there is a seam on each side. The boots are black, and it shows the laces on there. One other thing, this figure has black wrist tape. I also don't know if Stone Cold ever wore black wrist tape, but that's a neat little addition from Jcfigz. Other than that, we've seen this Stone Cold Steve Austin figure before. It's nothing to go crazy over. It's just very slight differences, and we'll go over that in a second. Now it's time for the bone cruncher test. Let's see, does Vince McMahon have the bone crunching action? Nope. Not there, and the legs don't crunch either. So no, Vince McMahon does not have bone crunching action. That's unfortunate. He is a stiff figure though, so that was expected. Here we have Steve Austin. Let's see, does he have bone crunching action? He sure does. Love to hear that awesome bone crunching action. And let's check just to make sure that these guys fit on the stands real quick. The good old classic BCA stands. There's Stone Cold there. He fits perfectly. The only thing I kind of don't like about them is they're just so big and bulky. These things are huge, so it's hard to display them all on these stands. But other than that, they're very cool. I love the WWF logo, and there's Vince. He fits perfectly also. Looks good. Now we'll go ahead and compare Stone Cold Steve Austin with a few of the other BCAs I have, and we'll compare Vince McMahon with his in-ring gear. I don't have another announcer McMahon, unfortunately, but we can check out some of the differences between the in-ring gear McMahon and this Royal Rumble exclusive announcer Vince McMahon. It's not the same body mold as the announcer Vince McMahon. It is completely different. The head is actually a screaming head, though it does still kind of look like the announcer Vince McMahon's head, just angry and screaming, so good job there, Jax. And you can take his suit off, and that's what he looks like without the suit. Still not the same body type. Announcer Vince McMahon never worked out a day in his life. He's very skinny, and the suit Vince McMahon is more of the heel boss McMahon. It's more of like the guy that won the Royal Rumble rather than the Royal Rumble exclusive announcer Vince. Would have been cool to see a Royal Rumble exclusive Vince with this body type rather than the announcer one, seeing how at the time that this Royal Rumble Vince and Stone Cold released was when Vince McMahon actually defeated Stone Cold at the Royal Rumble. So there's lots of differences here. I'm not even going to get into it because it's not the same mold at all, just like the Stone Cold Steve Austins are. But let me know which Vince McMahon gear you prefer. Would you rather have a Vince McMahon in his in-ring gear, the one that comes with the removable suit, or would you rather have the announcer Vince McMahon that comes with the microphone? Let me know in the comments below. Here's another quick comparison for you. The Elite Build-A-Figure Vince McMahon from the 80s, early 90s, and the Attitude Era Jakks Pacific BCA Vince McMahon. You can definitely tell the difference here between the eras. Jakks certainly captured the era that Vince McMahon was currently in during this Royal Rumble exclusive mail-away, and any wrestling fan would know just by looking at the figure and the clothes that he's wearing that this is Vince McMahon during the late 90s in the Attitude Era. Of course, it's not nearly as detailed. There's no face scan. It's just a head sculpt. Back then they didn't have face scan technology. Now of course they do, so the face looks a little bit more realistic on the Elite version. However, I still think Jakks did a great job capturing the likeness of Vince McMahon back in 1998, 1999. Here's a few Stone Cold comparisons. On the very left is another Toyfare exclusive mail-away Stone Cold with the hat and the skull logo on the front of the shirt. The middle, of course, is the Royal Rumble mail-away exclusive, and on the very right is the WrestleMania 14 Stone Cold Steve Austin with the SCU Stone Cold University shirt. Now at first glance they all look exactly the same, however there are very slight differences here. The logo being one, of course, and on the Royal Rumble mail-away exclusive Stone Cold he has black wrist tape on his wrist. The other two do not. Also, the head molds are all the same, however the eyes on each one look slightly different. I don't know if it's just the paint job from the factory or if the eyes are in fact meant to be different on each of these figures. The SCU Stone Cold on the very right, he kind of looks sad. The one in the middle, he looks more serious. And the Stone Cold with the hat on the very left, his eyes look more wide. So their body molds in general are all the same. You can tell by their hands that they all have the same hands, the same arms, same legs, same jeans. One other difference between the Royal Rumble Stone Cold and the other two is the boots. You can actually see the laces on the Royal Rumble Stone Cold, and you cannot see the laces on the Stone Cold University or the other Toyfare exclusive. So those are just very minor differences between these figures. For the most part, they're all the same. A lot of collectors don't like collecting the same figure over and over when it has the same mold. However, in the BCA line, now they're really cheap, so it's not that big of a deal. And it's cool to see all these vintage logos on shirts, and it really brings me back to when I was a kid, and it's very nostalgic. Let me know which one of these Stone Cold figures is your favorite in the comments below. And here's a recent Elite Stone Cold Steve Austin next to the Royal Rumble exclusive. Of course the differences are there. Like we said with Vince McMahon, the head scan is now a thing. It captures the likeness a lot more because it actually scans the face and puts it on the figure. Back in the 90s there just wasn't that technology, so they just sculpted it and it didn't look bad. You could still tell that is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Every figure that he has in the BCA line back in the 90s, everyone knew who Stone Cold Steve Austin was, and just by looking at his clothing and the head and the goatee, you knew that was Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's very humbling to see where we've come from to where we are now, but for the time period, Jakks did a great job on these figures. That about wraps it up, guys, for these 1999 WWF Royal Rumble Toyfare exclusive figures. Let me know what you think about these, if you have them, if you've seen them around. If you plan on purchasing them, let me know. By the way, if you want to rep Jcfigz and get a t-shirt and enter in a giveaway, check out ProWrestlingTees.com and type in Jcfigz. I have 2 designs on there right now. Get a shirt, tag me on Instagram, JC_Figs, and who knows, you might win some sweet free figures. And that's the bottom line, because Jcfigz said so.